It's autumn in Australia, and that means that it's time to start thinking about planting my winter vegetables. Because we're lucky here, we can grow all year round. Different foods, different vegetables, but still I can have things on the go for the entire year. So today I'm going to take you along on building my winter vegetable plot. So this has been one half of my big vegetable garden. It had 3 little slightly raised beds. I've been trying to grow a pumpkin, although it's grown, but I grew it from a seed, from a store-bought pumpkin that I ate, but it hasn't really produced any pumpkins. I have had lots of green beans, and there's still some that I can harvest, which I will do in a minute. So this has been a really great spot for summer because there is no obstruction for the sun. But in winter, I can't grow here because it doesn't get enough sun. Because I'll show you that there is a tree there which it stays green. It's an evergreen, so the sun will end up there and it will give too much shade. So this will need to be dismantled, and then I will grow my winter vegetable plot in another spot, which I'll show you now. There's the tiny, and then I've had on the side here in pots, I've grown tomatoes, basil, lettuce, and some yeah, that's it. I'm trying to think what else. So still a few tomatoes that I can harvest, which I will do as well, and I have quite a bit of basil that I can harvest, but it's starting to look very tired. This is a much better spot for my winter vegetables because if I turn around, the sun will come from there. But this is a deciduous tree, so it will start to lose its leaves really soon, which means that I'll get lots of sun. And so I'm going to remove the pots, and then I'm going to expand the garden a little bit out. At this point, I always end up with quite a few green tomatoes that don't really end up ripening nicely, so there's no point in keeping the plant going. No, they don't ripen properly if I just, leave them out in the sun. So it feels horrible throwing them out. But if anybody has any good tips for what to do with green tomatoes like that is easy. I'm not a fantastic and not a passionate cook, but if anybody has really nice, simple ways to use up green tomatoes, let me know. So this is my last harvest. I have a good haul of green beans. Some of them are, as they are at this time of the year, a bit chewy, so I'm going to chop those up really fine and put them in a vegetable soup. I still have quite a few tomatoes, which is lovely, and some basil behind, so I can just see some bruschetta coming up. And then I've also got some dried beans that I can take the actual beans out, and they will be for next year's sowing, because I like to, if it works, if it grows well where I grow it, then I like to save some of the seeds to for next year.
I wanted to build a bit of a raised bed here, also because I wanted to keep a lot of warmth into the area as much as possible. And so I used the bricks that I had in the summer vegetable um, plots, and I just build the brick, a little bit of a brick wall. It's not fitted, it's not um, attached to anything, but I managed with the amount of bricks that I had to build a decent sort of surround that will hold in the soil, but also because it warms up in during the day when the sun is out, the bricks will hold some of the warmth, and hopefully that will help with some of the plants to keep it a little bit warmer and keep the soil a bit warmer. So hopefully it grows better. But who knows? It's always just an experiment.
Right, so this is going to be the area for the new vegetables. So it's a 3 brick high space. Wondering why I didn't go further out to where this extra bit is. It's because underneath that yellow cover is my worm farm grey water system. So my kitchen water comes in there. There's soil and all sorts of organic matter on the top, and then I think there's a layer of sand and a layer of gravel, and don't quite know can't quite remember the order of things. And then there's a drain that comes out the bottom, and there's a pipe, a filter pipe, or a sort of a drainage pipe that goes through there. So the water gets drained into this section of the garden, and you shouldn't really plant edibles into grey water, even if it's filtered really well, unless it's been filtered, you know, with much more filtration. So I don't want to plant straight into where the water gets dripped, so to speak, but also because the pipe runs under there, so if I plant on top of it, then I might damage the pipe. So what I might do is fill up some of those pots, put them up there, and put some flowers in there, or put, you know, like one broccoli in one pot, because it doesn't actually go straight into the water underneath. I'm going to use the layering method of creating a garden bed, and the first layer that I've put in is just what I get out of the rabbit cage when I clean the cage out. So it's straw, poop, because rabbits are vegetarians. The poop is very good for vegetable gardening. So that's the first layer. So the next layer I'm going to put in is cardboard. I need to take, I've found cardboard boxes at a local hardware store. I'm going to take the plastic off, the tape. I'm going to wet the soil, put the cardboard down and wet it again. ready for the next layer. So the next layer is going to be made up of soil that I've got left over from the pots where I grew my summer vegetables. So I've got 4 pots here and 2 pots there. I also scooped up some of the soil that I used for my summer vegetables near the fence. That was good soil, so don't want to waste it. And that's going to go up now, and then I'm going to mix it with compost and specific tomato and vegetable growing mix. And I'm also going to mix through the slow release organic fertilizer that I still have. Beautiful that looks, and how much soil I ended up being able to put in. It's not completely to the top, which is fine because longer rooted vegetables can go through the decomposing cardboard, and there's just soil underneath, so it can go there. But it looks very healthy. And now I'm going to look at what to put where.
So over lunch, I whipped up my planting schedule. This is the final version, version 20, I think. Um, and so, as you can see, I have peas on sort of the back end because they're going to grow up a trellis. And so I don't want it to block any sunshine. And then in front, I've got a slightly higher um, plants. So I've got broccoli, kale, and then silver beet. And then the lower plants are more towards the sort of southwest, so they get plenty of sunshine as well. And as you can see, I've created a sort of a block growing setup. I don't like to grow in neat little rows, but also this means that I can work out which areas of this plot are better for which vegetables, because I will be continue to sow so that I have continuous crop as much as possible. Definitely the radish and the carrots and the lettuce, and I might even do after a month or so add a few more peas, depending on how well it goes. So having it in blocks, it's kind of I think it's called square foot gardening, where you have blocks of crop instead of just all together in one place. It also apparently deters pests because they find maybe one little block, but then they don't find the other.
Well, there we have it. My winter vegetable plot is ready to go. And now I just have to have patience. But I will be out there every day checking whether something's coming up, and I will regularly show you updates. Thanks for watching. Bye.